Ketones are acids that can build up in the bodies of people with diabetes due to insufficient insulin in the body or illness. The complications can be life-threatening. This condition is known as diabetic ketoacidosis, more commonly referred to as DKA. DKA is the #1 reason for hospitalizing children with diabetes in the U.S. Early detection and treatment of ketones can prevent hospitalizations. The Diabetes Medical Management Plan will specify when ketones should be checked, usually when blood glucose is greater than 240, or with symptoms such as stomachache, drowsiness, and a sweet or fruity smell to the breath. If vomiting occurs or if the student is lethargic, call for medical assistance if the parent cannot be reached. Testing for ketones is not complicated and can be done either using urine or blood, but most kids use urine ketone tests. To test using urine, get a pack or vial of ketone strips and a clean urine cup. If you're doing the testing, protect yourself with gloves. Dip the ketone strip into the urine and shake off the excess. You'll have to wait anywhere from 15 to 60 seconds for the results. The label will tell you. Compare the color on the strip to the color chart on the label. The blood can also be checked for ketones using a special meter and a test strip. The finger is pricked, and blood is placed on a strip, like checking blood glucose. The ketone meter will provide a reading that indicates the presence and level of ketones. Document the results in the student's log, and take action according to the student's Diabetes Medical Management Plan, which may include encouraging the student to drink a lot of water or diet soda, delaying physical activity, taking insulin right away, and allowing extra trips to the restroom. Diabetes care balances 3 things: insulin or other medications, food or carbohydrate intake, and physical activity. The student's meal plan is central to maintaining this balance. The child's healthcare team and parent create an individualized meal plan based upon carbohydrate counting. Protein and fat may be taken into consideration, and younger students may need help to make food choices. There are no forbidden foods for students with diabetes. It's the carbs that count. However, all children should have access to healthy meals and snacks at school. So it's important for families to have accurate carbohydrate information in advance. The amount of insulin must be matched with the amount of carbohydrates. With some insulin regimens, snacks and meals must be timed consistently. A missed snack or meal can mean hypoglycemia, low blood glucose, and that can be very serious. Plan in advance for special activities, such as parties, field trips, and extracurricular activities. Snacks have to be planned out too. If you're off school grounds, make sure that you bring snacks, diabetes equipment and supplies, glucagon, and a list of emergency contacts. Physical activity is good for all kids, but students with diabetes may need to adjust their insulin and food intake to the intensity of physical exercise they get. Typically, physical activity lowers blood glucose. That's why fast-acting carbs like fruit juice, regular soda, or glucose tablets should always be on hand. Make sure that the student also has access to a snack, meter, and diabetes supplies before, during, and after exercise. Sometimes exercise may have to wait. Follow the Diabetes Medical Management Plan.
and thank you, Mr. Smith, for joining us. As you all know, we're going to go over his child's 504 plan. As you all know, the Americans with
The
Disabilities
Americans with Disabilities Act, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act all provide protections to people with disabilities, including children with diabetes. These federal laws ensure equal access to school-sponsored activities. Students may not be shut out of any school activity because of their diabetes, and they are entitled to a medically safe environment. Which laws apply depend upon both the type of school the student goes to and how diabetes affects him or her. State laws also need to be taken into consideration in determining, for example, who does what task, but the bottom line is that students must get the services they are entitled to at school, and parents cannot be required to come to school to provide care. Once a student has been diagnosed with diabetes and found to be protected by one or more of these laws, school staff and family need to take the next step and write a 504 plan, or an Individualized Education Program, or IEP. That explains how the student's diabetes medical management plan will be implemented in the school setting. This plan gives all the details of how the student's diabetes will be managed in the school setting. The school, the student, and the parents all need to be on the same page. They need to know where and when the student should check blood glucose, and whether the student needs help in doing so. Who at the school is trained in diabetes management. That includes the school nurse and other school staff who give care if a nurse is not available. Where diabetes supplies are kept. The student should have free access to water and restrooms. The student's nutritional needs for meals, snacks, and special events like parties, and how food is going to be handled. The student has a right to alternate times for exams if he or she is experiencing low or high blood glucose. The student should not be penalized for absences for doctor's appointments or prolonged illness. The student with diabetes should be safe on field trips and all school-sponsored events. Wherever the student is, diabetes supplies and trained staff need to be there too.